Hey everyone, Houndx here with another Lenovo Legion video. In this video, I'll show you how to optimize your 2021 Lenovo Legion for gaming and productivity. The optimizations in this video are mainly intended to offer performance improvements, which includes boosting FPS, allowing you to play games at higher frame rates, make your gameplay feel more smoother and lag-free, as well as fixing FPS drops, which is something new I will address in this video. Also, if you're a content creator and you edit videos, I'll show you some methods to render videos significantly faster. But this video will also cover how to tune the color accuracy so the colors will feel more vibrant, and that will be a nice experience for gaming and video editing as well, and it will overall make the experience of using the Lenovo Legion the best it can be. So this video is definitely going to be a very long one, and for that reason I will leave timestamps in the description below for each section of the video where I explain the optimization, what it does and why you should do it, and then the part where I show you how to apply the optimization. This way you can jump to whatever part of the video you would like to watch. Before we get into the video, I just want to clarify that I'm making this video as an update for people who use 2021 Lenovo Legion models. So these methods and optimizations that I've tested will work for all 2021 and 2020 Lenovo Legion models, including the Lenovo Legion 5 Pro, Lenovo Legion 5 2021, and the Lenovo Legion 7 2021. However, some of the methods I show in this video may not work for 2019 Lenovo Legion Y series laptops, so I will provide alternative methods in this video for the optimizations that may not work for the 2019 models. I know a lot of people ask those questions in the comments below on my past Lenovo Legion optimizations videos, and they usually tell me what kind of Lenovo Legion model they have and then ask me if the optimizations will work for them, so I do hope this does help clear a lot of things up. But with that said, if you find this video helpful and you want to show your support, all I ask is for you to drop a like down below. But if you're feeling generous today or you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe to the channel, as that's the best way to support me. Now, before we apply any optimizations that I show in this video, it is important that you create a restore point for backup. I'd recommend pretty much everyone do this, since you will always have the opportunity to revert back your Lenovo Legion to the state prior to when you made these optimizations. To create a restore point, you're going to go to the search bar and type in restore, and click on create a restore point. It should bring up this window right here, and what you're going to want to do is click configure. Under resource settings, you're going to want to select turn on system protection. Most likely it will be set to disabled. And for disk space usage, you're going to want to drag the slider to around 5%. Click apply and OK. Now click on create to create a restore point. Name your restore point anything you like. For this video, I will call it Lenovo Legion optimizations. Now click create. Click on close. Now, in the event that you actually do need to use the system restore and revert to that restore point you created earlier, you would click on system restore and then next, and then you would select the restore point that you created in this box right here. I named mine Lenovo Legion optimizations, and then you would click next and finish, and then it would confirm your restore point and then revert all your changes. We're pretty much set for the restore point of this video. You could go ahead and X out of all these windows, and we're set to begin the first optimization of this video. So the first step of optimizing your Lenovo Legion is to debloat Windows. In case if you don't know what debloating means, it basically means removing unnecessary pre-installed software that comes with your Lenovo Legion. Now, a question that you may ask is that why we should start debloating, and the answer is that Windows, which is the operating system that is installed on your Lenovo Legion, gradually slows over time because of the added bloatware that runs in the background, taking up storage and system resources. So it could be detrimental to gaming laptops that only have 8 GB of RAM. So if you notice that your laptop has been slowing down over time, year after year, this could be the reason why. So it's best that we start this guide with the least amount of bloatware possible and a clean Windows operating system. So the first step of debloating is to start by uninstalling any unnecessary apps that you know for sure that you don't use on your Lenovo Legion. To head over to the apps and features menu, you're going to want to right click on the start menu and click apps and features. In this menu, you see all the apps that are installed on your computer, and in this section you will also see the bloatware that's installed on your computer as well. Now, for this part of the video, take your time and uninstall any apps that you know for sure that you don't use. I will also leave a list on the screen of which apps are most likely bloatware. Overall, I recommend you being very strict in uninstalling as many apps as you can. In addition to uninstalling programs from this list, be aware not to uninstall the important programs that your computer needs to function properly. For example, if you see any Nvidia programs right here, these are your drivers. You need these for your games to run properly. So if you uninstall these, your Lenovo Legion will have problems and you'll have to reinstall them, which is going to be pretty annoying. So I wouldn't touch anything that has Nvidia in them. Next, we're going to apply some basic Windows optimizations that will improve the performance of your Lenovo Legion, and some of them will fix FPS drops. Now we're going to start off by using this file pack that I'll leave in the description below. It will be a zip file, so you're going to need WinRAR or a file extractor to extract the files. Now once you have extracted the folder, you're going to want to go ahead and double click that to open it and head over to Games Optimizations, and we're going to start off by installing all the Visual C++ runtimes. Now earlier in this video I did mention that you will need the Microsoft Visual redistributables for your games and programs that need it to function properly. Depending on how old your Lenovo Legion is, there's a possibility that you may not have all of these installed on your computer. So we're going to install all of them. In order to do that, we're going to right click on the batch file on the top and click Run as Administrator. This way it's going to install all the visual redistributables at once, so you don't have to do it manually. It's going to show a bunch of pop-ups, which means that the visual redistributables are being installed. Once all the pop-ups close, that means the redistributables have been successfully installed on your computer. Next, we're going to click back, and then we're going to install the latest version of DirectX. Double click on the exe file, accept the terms, untick install the Bing bar, and then click next. Depending on if you have the latest version of DirectX, it may show a different screen, but it says that I've already installed DirectX, so I don't have to install it again. But if it does show up that you need to install DirectX, you may have to click next and then install, and then it will set up DirectX. I'm going to click finish, and then next we're going to install the .NET framework, which is 4.8. Double click on that, and it's going to begin the installation. Now it says that I've already installed the latest version, so we're going to click close, but you may not have installed, so proceed with installation if applicable. And finally, we're going to disable Xbox Game Bar. This optimization is very helpful in fixing the sudden FPS drops that you may get when you're playing games. So if you notice that you are playing at a smooth 144 FPS, for example, in a certain game, and it suddenly drops to around 10 or 20, and you're noticing that you're not getting consistent FPS, this is one of the several optimizations in this video that will help. Now the reason why we're disabling Xbox Game Bar is that it has been proven that Xbox Game Bar runs in the background, taking up many background resources, and has been the main reason that's been causing inconsistent FPS and FPS drops within games. So to disable it, double click on the registry file, click OK, and then OK, and it will apply the new registry changes to your system. By applying this optimization and disabling Xbox Game Bar, while you may not be able to see a significant FPS boost, you will be able to see more consistent frame rates, according to my testing on my Lenovo Legion 5. You don't have to worry about if you're disabling something important in your system, because Xbox Game Bar is a very redundant screen recorder and broadcasting software that pretty much anyone should not have any reason to have on their computer. There are much more reliable screen recorders out there that are completely free, such as OBS Studio and Nvidia Shadowplay, so I would recommend using those instead if you would like to have a screen recorder. Now in the event that something does go wrong and you would like to revert the registry file, I also added the enable Xbox Game Bar registry file as a backup in the file pack for you. Alright, so in the next part of the video, we're going to set up Lenovo Vantage and optimize some settings there. I already covered much of this in my past optimization video I released several months ago, so I won't cover every single setting that you need to change. I will only cover the critical ones, but if you would like to know all the settings that you need to change in Lenovo Vantage, I'll drop a link in the description below for that specific video that covers optimizing the Lenovo Vantage. Firstly, you're going to have Lenovo Vantage installed on your Lenovo Legion. Most of you probably already have it installed anyway, but if you have removed it in the past for some apparent reason, you're going to need to reinstall it through the Microsoft Store. Once you're in the Lenovo Vantage, we're going to start by going under the Legion Edge section. It's located on the right side of the main menu. If you see the overdrive option available to you, I would highly recommend you enabling it. What overdrive does is that it will lower the response time of your screen on the Lenovo Legion. For comparison, my Lenovo Legion originally had an average gray-to-gray response time of 7 milliseconds without the overdrive option enabled, but once I enabled it, the response time was lowered to an average gray-to-gray response time of only 4.2 milliseconds, which is a pretty good reduction. However, some Lenovo Legions may not have this option available to them. In that case, you may not even see overdrive show up as an option. It simply means that your Lenovo Legion does not support overdrive. Now, the next setting we're going to take a look at is hybrid mode. Just to clarify, all Lenovo Legion laptops will have this feature, unlike overdrive. My recommendation would be disabling it. Hybrid mode is basically Nvidia Optimus, which is a battery life saving feature, so enabling it would save battery life but also will cost you some performance in games. Also, another thing to note is that in order to have support for G-Sync, you must disable hybrid mode. However, if you do enable hybrid mode, you will get support for FreeSync, so you get the best of both worlds. So overall, I would recommend disabling hybrid mode when your laptop is plugged in, but otherwise if your laptop is unplugged, then hybrid mode is a pretty cool feature that you can enable to save battery life. So next thing we're going to do is to disable the integrated graphics. The reason why we're doing this is so that we could force the Lenovo Legion to use the dedicated graphics card in games so that you get more performance and higher FPS. Now you can always undo this, you can always enable the integrated graphics anytime you like. This isn't going to permanently disable it. But anyways, the method we're going to use to disable the integrated graphics is doing it in the Lenovo Legion BIOS. While there are other methods to do this, I'd say, in my opinion, that doing it in the BIOS is the most convenient way. Because when you disable the integrated graphics in the BIOS, there's no way that your laptop can by any means use the integrated graphics or suddenly switch from using the dedicated graphics to the integrated ones while you're playing games. In the testing I've done with the Lenovo Legion, I noticed that I was getting noticeably higher frame rates on my Lenovo Legion after I disabled the integrated graphics through the BIOS instead of doing it in the Nvidia control panel. Now to head over to the Lenovo Legion BIOS, you want to head over to the Start menu. Now hover over the power button right here. Hold the shift key and then click restart. Then it will restart your computer. However, I can't really do that because I don't have a capture card. So if I were to click restart right now, my recording will get corrupted. So I'll show you a series of images that I took to show you what the process will be. Now if you successfully held shift down and then click restart, you should have been brought to this screen right here. Once you're at the screen, you want to click the troubleshoot button right here. And then you will be brought to this next screen right here where it says advanced options. You want to look for the UEFI firmware settings. What you want to do is click on UEFI firmware setting, and then it will restart your Lenovo Legion, bring you through a boot. If you see the screen or something that's similar to this, depending on the model of your Lenovo Legion, you have successfully entered through the BIOS. In here, you want to look for the graphic device option. Under this selection, you want to select discrete graphics instead of dynamic graphics. For some Lenovo Legions, it may show switchable graphics. Once you have selected discrete graphics, hit the escape key to leave the BIOS. Once you hit escape on your keyboard, it will show you a message to confirm your changes or save them. Just click save, and then it should exit the BIOS, and then it will bring you up to Windows, and then you're pretty much good. You have disabled the integrated graphics successfully. However, in the event that if you see a screen something like this, where the graphics device menu is not showing up and there's nothing there, that what you want to do is hit escape to leave the BIOS, and don't save the changes if you ever made any. Once you have exited the BIOS, boot up to Windows, and the way to fix this would be to heading over to Lenovo Vantage and enable hybrid mode. I believe this is some sort of bug, so once you enable hybrid mode, then the menu should show up and you're pretty much good to go. So next step is to update our Nvidia drivers. This method is one of the most important ones in this video, and it will most likely offer the highest FPS boost out of all the other optimizations in this video. We're going to start by downloading the latest Nvidia driver and updating it, and the reason why we're doing that is the latest drivers contain bug fixes for the previous drivers, so it will help fix FPS drops when you do a fresh, clean install. And then we will optimize the Nvidia control panel, changing some settings, which should give it a significant performance boost. So head over to this website, which is the Nvidia Advanced Driver Search. And starting off with product type, we're going to select GeForce. All Lenovo Legion laptops will have Nvidia GeForce GPUs. For product series, select the product series of your GPU. I have a GTX 1660 Ti on my Lenovo Legion, so I will select the GeForce GTX 16 series. By the way, when selecting the product series, make sure that it has notebooks in it, since we're doing this for Lenovo Legion laptops. If it doesn't have notebooks in it, that is a driver meant for desktops. For products, select your GPU. I'll select GTX 1660 Ti. For operating system, we're going to leave it as Windows 10 64-bit. For Windows driver type, instead of DCH, I recommend selecting standard since it's more bloatware free. For recommended beta, select recommended/certified. This is a pretty important step because we only want the Nvidia game ready drivers, since those are the drivers that are the most optimized for gaming. As you can see, there are also other types of Nvidia drivers, such as the studio driver, which is meant for video editing and content creation. Overall, I would recommend updating with the game ready drivers. Click on search, and as you can see, we have a whole list of drivers, but we only need to download the latest one, and which is the one on the top of this list. At the time of recording this video, the latest version is 471.41, so I'm going to download that driver. Click on that, and then click download. Click download one more time, then it will begin the downloading of the driver. Once you have finished downloading the driver installer, you want to go ahead and open it, and as you can see, it will show up this pop-up right here. We're going to click OK, and it's going to begin the installation. As you can see, it just ran a compatibility check. In the event that you get a compatibility error and it does not allow you to continue the installation, head back to the advanced driver search on the Nvidia website, and instead of downloading the standard driver, change it to DCH instead. Some gaming laptops may only support DCH drivers instead of the standard driver. For the system check, we're going to select Nvidia graphics driver and GeForce Experience. However, if you do not use GeForce Experience at all, you can select this option, but I'm going to tick the top one because I use GeForce Experience. We're going to click agree and continue, and for the installation options, we're going to select custom and advanced. Click next again, and for PhysX system software, we're going to actually untick that since that is an unnecessary feature and we only want these three. However, make sure not to untick HD audio driver. You must have this ticked in order to have your speakers or your headphones working, because I unticked this by accident before and I noticed that my headphones were not working, so make sure not to make the same mistake as I did. And for perform a clean installation, make sure you tick that as well because we want a fresh install. Once you're ready to begin the installation, click on next, and I'll be right back when the installation is finished. Okay, so I'm back right now, and as you can see, the Nvidia installer has successfully finished. Throughout the installation, you may have noticed that your screen has gone black and then reappeared. You also may have noticed that your resolution and the refresh rate has changed. This is all normal, however, it's all part of the installation process where it uninstalls your previous Nvidia driver and then reinstalls the latest one. Now, after the installation, it is important that you restart your computer before we continue on the next set of optimizations. So this way your Lenovo Legion is kind of cleared up. So once you have restarted your computer, we're now ready to optimize the Nvidia control panel. We're going to change some settings in the Nvidia control panel, which will offer a significant FPS boost, which will also help fix FPS drops as well. In addition, we'll also optimize the color accuracy, so the colors will be more vibrant in this section of this video. Also, if you're a content creator and you do video editing, I'm going to show you the best settings in Nvidia control panel for video editing, which will apply to any video editor out there. And as a bonus, if you use Vegas Pro, I'll show you the settings inside that program that I use, which are pretty critical in allowing the video editor to export videos significantly faster. In order to get into the Nvidia control panel, all you have to do is right click anywhere on your desktop and click Nvidia control panel. We're going to start by heading over to enable developer settings. Make sure that you check this option right here. We're going to optimize the setting later on in this video. In the adjust settings with preview, you want to select use my preference, emphasizing quality, and then drag the slider to performance, and then select use the advanced 3D image settings. Click apply and then click take me there. This will take you to the manage 3D settings tab, which is the most important tab for optimizing this Nvidia control panel to get the highest performance possible. In manage 3D settings, as you can see, there are two tabs, global settings and program settings. We don't want to optimize global settings since it will apply all these settings to every single program that you have on the Lenovo Legion. That wouldn't be practical since that will cost you a lot of battery life, and you only want the Lenovo Legion to prioritize its performance on games or heavy tasks. So instead, we're going to go to the program settings tab and I'm only going to optimize the games I have on my Lenovo Legion and the video editors as well. First, under select a program to customize, I'm going to browse for a game that I have installed on my Lenovo Legion. You can click the drop down menu and it will show all the programs that you have installed on your Lenovo Legion, and select the game that you see. Or if it doesn't show up in that list, you can click add and manually browse the file directory. I'm going to use Fortnite as an example, but this process applies to any game out there. Starting with image sharpening, we're going to turn that off. For anti-aliasing gamma correction, which is turned on by default, this should be turned off. CUDA GPUs should be set to all. For low latency mode, this will depend on how high-end your laptop is. If your Nvidia graphics card is an RTX series graphics card, then I would recommend setting the low latency mode to on. That would be for high-end Lenovo Legion laptops. But if you have a mid-end to low-end Lenovo Legion that has an Nvidia GTX series graphics card, then set low latency mode to ultra. If you're unsure which one you should set it to, I would recommend testing out both on and ultra and see which one works better for you. But overall, I would not recommend you leaving it as off. I have a GTX 1660 Ti in my Lenovo Legion, so I set this as ultra. For max frame rate, I would recommend turning this off if you want the absolute maximum FPS possible. But if you would like to cap yourself at a certain amount of FPS, you get more consistent FPS, less input delay, and less FPS drops, then I would recommend setting your max frame rate to the refresh rate of the display on your Lenovo Legion. For example, if you have a 60Hz screen, set the max frame rate to 60 FPS. The same goes with 144Hz and 240Hz screens, and so on and so forth. If you're not sure what the refresh rate of your screen is, in the search bar, look up refresh rate and then select View Advanced Display Settings. Under refresh rate, click the drop down menu and select the highest value in Hertz in this drop down menu. Whatever the highest value in this drop down menu is the refresh rate of your screen. For me, that is 144 Hz. So if I were to cap myself at a certain amount of FPS, I would cap it at 144. Multi-frame sampled AA should be turned off. OpenGL rendering GPU should be set to the GPU that's in your Lenovo Legion. For power management mode, set this to maximum performance. For preferred refresh rate, if you do happen to see this option appear, that means your Lenovo Legion is connected to an external monitor like mine is. Set this to highest available. For texture filtering quality, set that to high performance. For texture filtering trilinear optimization, turn that on. For threaded optimization, turn that on as well. All Lenovo Legions will have a processor that has 4 or more cores in it, so there isn't a case where you need to disable threaded optimization. For triple buffering, turn that off. For vertical sync, turn that off. And that's all the settings that we need to change for Fortnite, or whatever game that you chose to optimize. Next, I'm going to show you the best settings for the video editors. If you don't do video editing, then you don't have to worry about this step since it won't matter to you. To optimize any video editor you want, start by browsing for the file directory. You can click the drop down menu and look through the list if your video editor shows up. For me, Vegas Pro does show up as a program in there, but if your video editor does not show up in that list, you can manually add it by clicking the add button and browsing for the file directory. To start out with image sharpening, turn that off. Anisotropic filtering should be set to off. All the anti-aliasing settings should be turned off as well, including anti-aliasing setting, which should be set to none. CUDA GPUs should be set to all, because you want your GPU to do more of the exporting, so this will allow your computer to render the videos faster. This time max frame rate should be turned off, because this is not a game. For OpenGL rendering GPU, select your GPU because you want your GPU to render all the graphics instead of your processor. For power management mode, set it to prefer maximum performance. For preferred refresh rate, this doesn't really matter since this isn't really a game that we're optimizing here, so I'm going to leave it as application controlled. For texture filtering quality, that should be set to high performance. And finally, for vertical sync, turn that off. Now head over to the display resolution tab. Set the resolution to the native resolution of your display on your Lenovo Legion. My Lenovo Legion is connected to an external monitor, so I'm going to set it as 1440p. For the refresh rate, select the highest value in the drop-down menu. For me, that is 144 Hz, so I'll select that. For just the following settings, as you can see, the settings below there are grayed out, so select Use Nvidia Settings. For output color format, select RGB. For output dynamic range, select Full instead of Limited. The full setting will allow you to see darker images and darker graphics much more easily than the limited one, so it could provide a competitive advantage in certain games. For adjust desktop color settings, under apply color enhancements, I'm going to leave the color channel as all channels. For the brightness and contrast and gamma, you can play around with those options if you like. I'm going to leave them as default. Under that, however, is digital vibrance, which is a pretty important setting. I would recommend bumping this up to around 70 to 80%. This way the colors are more vibrant instead of washed out. Go all the way down to adjust desktop size and position. For scaling, select no scaling. For perform scaling on, select display. Then check the box that says override the scaling mode set by games and programs. For resolution, select your native resolution. For me, that is 2560 by 1440, which is the resolution of my external monitor my Lenovo Legion is connected to. And for the refresh rate, select the highest value in this drop-down menu. That is 144 Hz for me. Finally, go down to adjust video color settings. Instead of selecting with the video player settings, select with the Nvidia settings. Click on the advanced tab. For the dynamic range, select full 0 to 255. As for color and gamma, I leave them default, but you can play around with them if you like. And there you guys have it. That is the full comprehensive guide to optimizing your 2021 Lenovo Legion. As you all may know, I spent a lot more time putting this video together compared to my other videos, so I do hope that you were able to find this video helpful. If you did, be sure to drop a like down below, and you can also subscribe to the channel if you want to see more optimizing videos about the Lenovo Legion. I'm really close to my goal of 2,000 subscribers, so that would help me a lot. Also, if you were able to see some significant FPS boosts in the games you play or performance improvements, feel free to share down in the comments below. I'm curious to know how much of a performance improvement you were able to make. With that said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.